Good morning, dear students. We have already started with national income and related aggregates from macroeconomics. And in the previous three sessions, we have learned what is the difference between consumer goods and capital goods, stock and flow, the very basic concepts, such as the difference between intermediate goods and final goods, how to identify them, then the difference between depreciation and capital loss, capital and investment, gross and net investment. Then we also saw, the very important topic called circular flow of income. What are the basic principles of circular flow of income? What is the difference between the real flow and the physical flow? Then what is the significance of circular flow of income? Now, we also did the concepts, how to identify intermediate and final good. This also we have completed, and then we started economic territory and resident. Right. So, economic territory, let's quickly sum up, is defined as a geographical boundary where the government controls and where there is a free movement of the capital, goods, and people. So it is a geographical boundary under the control of the government of a particular country where there is a freedom to for the capital and the goods and the people to move, right? So now this domestic territory called the economic territory includes all the embassies of the country located abroad in other countries, excluding the foreign ones located in this domestic territory. For example, if we consider India, embassies, if we talk about India, then India includes all the Indian embassies located, in all the countries abroad. Whereas India's domestic territory excludes the foreign embassies located in India, such as US embassy in India, or Chinese embassy in India, or Japanese embassy in India. So this is excluded from India's domestic territory. Then India's domestic territory includes all the political frontiers of India, including the territorial waters, airspace. So this is called political frontier. Then third is, the ships and aircrafts. So all the ships and aircrafts of India that operate between two or more countries, it is a part of domestic territory of India. And last but not the least, the fishing vessels, the rigs, the wells, all this, even if it is in the international waters to certain nautical miles, it is part of domestic territory of our country. So this is the concept of economic territory. So if we have to identify, let's identify which of the following comes in, say for example, domestic territory of India. So the very first is Office of Tata Company in London. Now this company is in London, in the political frontier, within the geographical boundary of London. So it is not the part of domestic territory of India, right? Because it is located in London. Then you have to write the reason also. Microsoft Office in India is a part of domestic territory of India because it is located within the political boundary of India. Then Indian aircraft operated by Indian crew is a part of domestic territory of India. Then branch of foreign bank in India. So branch of foreign banks in India are very much part of the domestic territory of India because they are located within the domestic frontiers, political frontier. Whereas a Bank of India in London, for example, the branch of State Bank of India in London, it is part of domestic territory of London because it is situated in their domestic territory. Then Japanese embassy in India. Now embassy, you have to take care this point. Now Japanese embassy in India, since it is the Japanese, it belongs in this embassy the control of the government of the Japan. It is not the part of domestic territory of India because it is a part of Japan. It belongs to the domestic territory of Japan. And similarly, if I say Indian embassy in Japan, so Indian embassy in Japan is a part of India's domestic territory despite being located in Japan because our government control is there in India's embassy in Japan. So children, these are the techniques to understand and to differentiate and to identify. So let's move on to a very new concept called resident. Now, first of all, the concept and the definition. A resident is a person or an institution. A resident is a person or an institution whose economic interest lies in the country in which he lives or is located. So I repeat, a resident is a person or an institution whose economic interest lies in the country in which he lives or is located. Right. So now in this case, let's see who are the non-residents then. Let's first understand this. So if I say the office of an international organization, like a United Nations organization, like World Bank, like ILO, International Labour Organization, like WHO. So if I say an office of WHO located in India, so is WHO office located in India a resident of India, because it is an institution? So we will say no. Any international organization, the office of any international organization located in any country is not the resident of any country but of international area. So we are learning that who are the non-residents. So the office of WHO, ILO, UNO, they are not the resident of any country but of international area, whether they are situated anywhere. Now the second case of non-resident is that the people who are working in these international organizations, for example, a Chinese working in the office of WHO in India, a Chinese working in the office of WHO in India. So he is the resident of China. So the people who are working in the offices of international organizations are the residents of their own country to which they belong, are the residents of their own country to which they belong. So this is our second case of non-resident. Let's see the third case of non-resident. Now in the third case, people who cross border regularly. For example, an Indian who crosses border, to reach to Nepal to do his work. His office is there. For working purpose, he goes to Nepal every day in the morning, and he comes back in the evening back to India, because it's a very small distance. It's just on the border. So it's say maximum 15 kilometers, and he comes back to his own country. So such people who cross border regularly to do work are the non-resident to the country to which they are going, and they are the resident of the country where they belong to. So these people who cross border regularly from India to Nepal for the purpose of work and coming back, so they are the residents of India only, and they are non-resident of the country where they are going, of the place where they are going. So this was the third case of non-resident. Now let's see the fourth case. So students who go abroad for graduation, for studies, for academic work, for academic studies, for degrees, academic degrees, they are the non-resident to the country which they are going. For example, an Indian student goes to Australia for a 3-degree course, or a London School of Economics for a 3-year course. Then the person is the resident of India, that student is resident of India and non-resident to London. Then there are people who go for tourism from India to US, to London, to Canada, to Japan. So the tourists who are going to visit on picnic, to visit to other places on picnic or spots seeing or sightseeing. So these tourists, they are the non-residents of the country to which they are going, and they are the residents to the country to which they belong. So this is one case of and let's take some more examples here. So the people who go to see the cricket match, and so people who are going for concerts, music concerts. So the country to which they are going, they are non-resident to that country. And similarly, if a person is going for some kind of advanced surgery, some kind of medication, services, medical tourism, they are going abroad for surgery, etc. So they are the non-resident to country where they are going, and they are the resident to the country to which they belong. So these are the important concepts. And let's see one more case. Let's see, the employees, the foreigners who are working in the embassy, the foreign staff of embassies, they are the resident of the country to which they belong. So this is the concept of resident. Now, how is this question tested in the exam? Let's see. So you have to identify the normal residence. For example, in case of India, so Canadian tourist in India for a month. Now this person who is coming from Canada to India just for a month for sightseeing, for tourism, he is not the resident of India, right? So he is a non-resident in India. India is going to South Africa for watching a match. So these Indians are not the residents of South Africa where they are going, but they are the residents of the country to which they belong, that is India. Then Indian working in the Indian embassy in Canada. Now this is Indian embassy. So this Indian is the resident of India and not Canada. A Japanese working in WHO office. So this person who is working in WHO office is the resident of the country to which he belongs, because this is an international organization. So this person is a resident of Japan only. Then India's ambassador in rest of the world, any person going from India anywhere in the world as an ambassador, he is the non-resident to that country, whereas he is a resident to India. So he is a resident of India only. And ambassadors coming to India from the rest of the world, they are the non-residents of India, but they are the residents of the country to which they belong. For example, a Japanese as an ambassador in India, he is the resident of Japan only. Okay, so this is how we learn the concepts of domestic territory and resident. And very shortly you will see why do we see and study domestic territory and resident. A very important concept. Pay attention. So, national income. National income is sum total of all the income earned by the residents of a company, whether they are working in the country or abroad. So, national income is a sum total of all the income earned by only the residents, wherever they are in the world. So, the residents, whether, the person, for example, if we talk about India, so national income of India is sum total of income earned by only the Indians anywhere in the world. So Indians working within India and Indians who are temporarily working abroad in any of the country for the less than 1 year, if they are employed there, the income that they bring along, that is added to national income, called factor income from abroad. Right. And then what is domestic territory? Domestic territory helps us to find out domestic income. So national income we find with the help of resident concept, and domestic income we find out with the help of domestic territory concept. That is all the income earned by within the domestic territory, whether a resident or a non-resident. So all the income earned within the domestic territory, whether by resident or a non-resident, is called domestic income. So these two concepts help us to distinguish national income and domestic income. So dear students, in the next class, we will learn the related aggregates and calculation of national income. Thank you.